Hey everybody! Welcome to Northern Lion Plays This War of Mine. I played a little bit of the pre-release build of this game and did a Let's Look at it on the channel, but now that it's out, I had mentioned that I wanted to play it a little further, see if it, kept up its momentum, see if it stayed engaging, and I played like an hour or so last night, and I feel that it does, so I want to try to do a series on it. Effectively, this is a 2D side-scrolling survival game. I'm trying to think of what it's similar to, and all that's really coming to mind is Deadlight, you know, that PC and Xbox Live Arcade kind of zombie puzzle survival game, but that was more of a puzzle platformer. This is definitely a hardcore survival game, but instead of being about zombies, thank Christ, it is a survival game with a slightly different veneer. This takes place in unnamed, vaguely Eastern European country, in what appears to be kind of like a Cold War era type revolution or something along those lines. I never really go further than that, but maybe we'll come up with more information as we play. We're gonna get started here with another try. I'll abandon my earlier save. I was on like day 7 or something. I felt like I was doing pretty good. I mean, you know, we weren't eating toasted Eggo waffles every day, but we also weren't, apparently that's the height of cuisine for me, toasted Eggo waffles, but we also weren't, you know, eating each other, which is a good start. So every time it starts, I'll explain the mechanics of the game, especially in the first episode here, but every time it starts, it's a little different, and there is procedurally generated stuff that happens as the days go on. But you start with a different kind of amalgam or combination of survivors every time, each one with their own various unique skills and potentially maladies when they get started as well. Some of them could start sick or wounded or etc, etc. It looks like we have Bruno and Katya. I'm familiar with Bruno and Katya. Oh, we have the standard loadout that I've had like 3 times. When the Civil War broke out, many people thought it would only last a couple of weeks. It's been years since government military surrounded the rebels in the capital, cutting off all supply lines. The civilian population trapped in the city are suffering from hunger, disease, and shelling. Katya met both Pavel and Bruno before the war. She used to be a reporter, while Bruno had his own television cooking show. Pavel was the star of the local football team. Katya even interviewed him once. Now they meet in dramatically different circumstances, looking for food and shelter. So I'm going to pause temporarily here just to make sure my audio settings are a little better. That's fine. Maybe it's just a little quiet for me. I'll crank it up here. Alright, we're gonna get started. So the way that it works, and I'll just pause while I talk about it, but I'll unpause so you can see what I'm talking about. The game takes place in 2 phases, the day phase and the night phase. We're on day 1, day starts at 6 a.m., ends at 8 p.m., so we have 14 hours or so of in-game time in order to do what we want to do. There's things like temperature as well. Temperature right now is plus 17 degrees Celsius. That's pretty dang good if you ask me. We're gonna unpause and just have our people kind of do some stuff to start with here. So Pavel, why don't we have you climb up here, and if you see a hand icon, that means that you can loot there and start to get some stuff. So our number 1 objective for like at least the first couple of days of our survival here in our safe house is going to be to loot everything that we can and see what we've got. So that we can build some stuff as a result. There are big crafting elements. So we get a few basic items. I'll introduce them as we go, just so you know what they are moving forward. We got herbs. You can use those for cigarettes. I think Bruno starts as a smoker, but I'm not totally sure. You can also use them for herbal medicines. We got components, which are basically just like miscellaneous nuts and miscellaneous nuts. That's my rap name. No, this is like bolts and screws and stuff like that you can use to make anything. Sugar can be used to make alcohol. I think that's about it for that. And timber, which is also used to make, you know, wooden stuff. And then we've got down here, we've got a lockpick, which we'll be able to use in order to pick locks, as you might expect, because we are not Jill, the master of unlocking. More sugar, clean water. We can use it for alcohol, or we can use it to make, I think, slightly superior meals. And more herbs, more components, more sugar, more water, and more wood, which is pretty good. Alright, let's see if there's anything else we can quickly kind of loot here. What are you doing down here, my friend? Alright, we also have crafting elements, so let's have our lady friend Katya here, who is slightly sick but has good bargaining skills, which will be useful if we ever end up bartering, which we probably will at like day 3 usually. We'll have her come down here and start to make some tools for us that we can actually use to our advantage. But first, Bruno has a little bit more stuff to explore here. We got 1 piece of raw food, which we can actually use to make 1 meal. I think if we get some vegetables, we might be able to use it to make 2 meals that will fill people better, or make them more filled. That isn't really the way I intended for that to come out. Mechanical parts used for building and fixing complex machines, and electric parts. These are useful for making things like radios and whatnot. But anyway, we'll move on from there. So I'm going to have her start by making a metal workstation. there's going to be a few priorities that I'm going to have right off the bat here. A metal workstation is big, because I need that in order to have a shovel. Yeah, and you can see there's all these big piles of debris around here. We can kind of dig through those with our hands. I'm just going to have Bruno sit in a chair here. You can see that Bruno's a good cook. I believe that means that his meals are filling a little bit longer for people that he cooks for. We could dig... actually, Bruno's going to be here just in time to maybe get to work on a shovel, while Katya makes a couple of beds so that our units can actually sleep overnight. So we're going to have him make one shovel for now. You can see, very easy kind of crafting system here. We can crank it up, and you can see how long that'll take us. The hours do go by pretty quickly here, and you can see what kind of components this takes. So this takes 4 timber and 7 components. So we'll just make this shovel. And you don't need to give everybody their own personal inventory. The inventory is shared. Beds are important so that when people are not scavenging at night, they can actually have a good night's sleep. So we'll have her place a bed over here. And you can get by with one bed, I think, for a little while, as you only have 3 people. You could have one person stay overnight to guard. Okay, we got some kind of basic stuff over here. That's fine. And now that we actually have a shovel, let's take Pavel and we'll have him do some digging over here. Again, the shovel just kind of gets shared between the inventory, but it's really best to have 2 beds. You can see she's building it right now. But it's best to have two beds because when someone comes back from scavenging at night, they're going to be tired, and the person who stayed there to guard is going to be tired as well. See, the shovel automatically kind of got transferred there. So we'll have Bruno see if maybe he can make a stove. If we make a stove, it'll take 5 of 8 wood. Maybe we'd be better off having him make a second bed to start with, and we'll put this bed over here. And hopefully we can get enough timber from our remaining kind of sources here. In order to... Yeah, we do have a lockpick, so hopefully we can get enough timber from our remaining sources here to build another stove so that we can actually cook good meals. Because they can eat raw food, but if they eat raw food, it's not really that good for them. Alright, so we got some bandages here. Those are useful for bandaging up units who are wounded, but we can also get other kinds of medicine. Herbal medicines, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it's better than nothing, I believe is the flavor text. Pills, which can be used on sick units, like Kai is slightly sick right now, that would probably take her out of it. Books can be used for fuel or also for bartering. But yeah, there's a couple of different kinds of medicine. Let's see if we get some timber here at some point. Nope, just more components. I mean, most people don't really keep their timber... if they have timber in, just like a random kind of cupboard, I guess. Alright, so our second bed is built. Where can we do some more exploration? Without using lockpicks, we actually can, have Pavel, like, do this up here, but the rest of these are almost requiring lockpicks. We could do, like, a second shovel. Why don't you just rest for a little while? A second shovel would allow us to build a little faster. Or dig a little faster, but at the same time, it would be a waste of our precious resources. And that's one of the key things about this game, is basically just that there's just not enough resources to go around. You're gonna have to make sacrifices all the time. Some of those sacrifices are gonna be more, you know, deleterious than others. Oh, I didn't realize that we don't have lockpicks. We should probably make some more lockpicks with Bruno. Well, we have the chance, because those will be useful during our looting phase as well. How many... I'll make 2 of them. That'll use almost all of our components. We'll have 5 left over to maybe do something with. It's okay. We'll have Pavel come over here. And the first day is really busy. Subsequent days aren't necessarily as busy, but we will have people come to the door. Maybe they're malicious, maybe they're not. We'll have people that are nice about things, and we'll have people that are not so nice about things. Since we're making lockpicks, why don't we... like lockpick this door and start to bust this stuff down, and maybe we can loot our whole place. Probably not by the end of today, because we only have 4 hours left, but maybe soon after. I'm really hoping that we manage to get some more wood, but I think that we're gonna actually have to end up looting for it, unfortunately, because we're still missing 5 components and 5 timber now, so that's gonna take a while. I don't think we're gonna build anything else tonight. I think we'll just have like a grocery list for when we go scavenging, which is basically going to be timber and components and food. We don't actually have very much food, and we have very limited backpack space, by the way, so we're not really going to be able to take all the stuff that we want, so we're gonna have to use multiple days to go back to the same place. People will wise up, and they'll, you know, maybe start defending themselves or at least getting suspicious. It's gonna be interesting, but the first couple of days start out pretty simple here. we're very unlikely to run into too many problems. But it's a very interesting game, and one of the reasons I wanted to do a series is so I'm motivated to play it further and kind of see how the interesting kind of dynamics play out as you get further and further along, and I hope you guys will join me. So that was, I mean, it was a good idea to get that, because it basically was no cost to ourselves. It gave us a free lockpick. I wonder if we can actually get through this pile and get to this before the day ends. I'm a little skeptical. I really do love that you have a shared inventory, by the way. I think one of the things that could have killed this game and made it so monotonous to play is if you had to, like, pass the shovel back and forth in between people. Sure, it would be more realistic, but at the same time, sometimes I think you have to sacrifice realism for making a game that is maybe a little bit more enjoyable to actually play. Maybe it's not 8, maybe it's 9. I can't remember. We'll see in a sec. Alright, so we got some more herbs. We got tons of them. And we also got 2 diamonds here, which are or 2 jewelries, 2 pieces of jewelry, I should say, which are very useful for bartering, but are otherwise valueless. Oh, it was 8. Okay. So this is the second half of the game here. Well, not that we're halfway done, but this is the second phase of the game. Scavenging. There's 2 kind of interesting dynamics going on here. One, you want to send somebody out so that they can scavenge for materials that you need. We're going to send Pavel out because he's a fast runner, which will be good if he needs to get away, and he's got the biggest backpack size. Katya has the same backpack size, but she's slightly sick, so she'll be slower, and she's not a fast runner, so she'll be slower times 2. We could also have somebody guard. If we have somebody guard, they're not going to be resting at night, so they're going to be very tired and less efficient the next day, but you're less likely to have to deal with being raided, and I think it happens somewhat randomly that you get raided. So tonight, because it's the first night, I don't think the game's going to be so cruel to us. I don't think they're going to say, you know, we're going to raid you and take all your shit. So I'm going to have, you know, everybody take a sleep except Pavel. Pavel will scavenge, and we can choose where to scavenge, and we can look at the descriptions here. So this is a shelled cottage. This neighborhood recently got shelled and many houses are still burning. People were fleeing for their lives in a hurry, so we may find some useful stuff there without meeting anybody. Sounds pretty good. No danger. Lots of food, huge amounts of materials, lots of meds, weapons, parts. Semi-detached house. Danger. Half of it is a ruin, but there are people living in the other half. They don't seem friendly. At night, you can sometimes hear shots fired from here. We could probably scour the abandoned part for supplies if we manage to sneak past the inhabited part. There is kind of a stealth element to the game once you start encountering inhabited areas. Decrepit squad. It's been inhabited by the homeless since long before the war. They've always been struggling with lack of food and might not have survived the recent shortages. There shouldn't be a threat, and we could find some useful things here, but we really need food, so we're going to start by going to the shelled cottage. And we can take some stuff with us. I'm going to take our shovel. It does have kind of a, what should I say, like a durability meter attached to it here. And we don't really need anything else because it takes up backpack space. So we'll scavenge here, and usually it does like a little weird video driver thing, yeah, where it phases out for a second and puts us back in. Alright, so this is our stealth element of the game. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that we've got here. I believe that this part right here, especially with the cottage, is scripted because there's usually, so we need this and timber. This is exactly what we want. There's usually like gun parts buried back here, and you can use those to make a gun or a knife. Oh my god. We can't even grab all of this because there's too much of it. This might be the end of what we want to take for the day, but I'm going to keep like 2 inventory slots open. I'm very happy with what we have, but I'm going to try to get some food as well. Oh, you know what? This cottage is different than the cottages that I started with before. So yeah, you really have to almost make a grocery list and see what you want. If you only take the first things that you see, you're going to end up in a situation, sometimes there will be people in here by the way, but you're going to end up in a situation where maybe you forget something that's very important. Rarely do you only need one thing, and this is actually great for us. We got 3 pieces of raw food, 3 vegetables. That allows us to make something stupid like 6 meals, I think, with clean water, which we already have a decent amount of, but yeah, I think water's been a little bit easier to come by than timber so far, so we're gonna basically just leave. I'll click run to exit. I wanted to have a little bit more of a kind of landmark first night there, but we got lucky and found pretty much all the tools that we needed right off the bat. Alright, day 2. I'm pretty happy with day 1. We'll be able to make a stove now and get some cooking done. And hopefully we'll get into some more interesting kind of emergent gameplay story stuff too, because I think every day now, or every second day, we'll have people come to our door, and then we can start to interact with them. Alright. Pavel's been searching for supplies and brought some interesting things, and nobody got killed, which is a pretty good start. So Pavel, I'm going to have you rest here, and it appears that Katya is recovering from her sickness here, but if she doesn't need to get up, then we'll have her not get up. We've got so much food already. This is actually like a great bounty for us. So there's other things we can build, like a moonshine still. We will build a rainwater collector to get fresh water. We'll build a fireplace eventually, or a simple heater to make things warm when it gets cooler out here. And we'll build a radio so we can get some valuable information. But we're going to start with the obvious and just make a stove. We're going to put the stove right here. Pavel needs to sleep, which I think is justifiable. And why don't we have Katya, who is now, you know, she's recovered a little bit. We'll have her start doing some digging over here, and this will allow us to kind of accomplish twice as much. And we should be able to loot our entire place. I think this is the last stuff in our safe house that we have not actually looted. Yeah, that's a chair. You can't really loot the chair, even though it kind of looks like it. Alright, so Bruno is going to, he's going to make 2 fuel, and we can choose what to make it out of. Components, or timber, or books. And I think we're going to choose to make it out of our 2 books. Even though they're decent bartering objects, I think the timber is more important for us right now. So in making 2 fuel, we should be able to cook 3 meals for our people here, which is important to make sure that they still stay well fed, you know, resistant to disease. They move faster when they're well fed. And we're going to start by making 2 big meals here. I should have looked at the ingredients, but basically it uses 1 fuel and 1 vegetable, 1 raw food, and it makes 2 meals out of it. So it really stretches the food further. And we'll have Bruno eat 1 of those. And since Katya is sick, we'll have her eat the other one, and then we'll make a pretty basic meal. Actually, you know what? Just to simplify things and make them go faster, we'll have Pavel eat this meal, and after he eats that, Bruno can make the other meal, and it'll be fine. Oh, we also need somebody, maybe Bruno here, can make a lockpick quickly so that Katya can open the door. Again, thank God we don't actually have to wait for them to transfer stuff in between their inventory. Otherwise, this would be incredibly annoying. Alright, so, Pavel, no longer hungry. Excuse me, Kaya. Open the door, please. While you're doing that, Bruno will cook lunch. We're going to have a delicious... Oh, I need 1 more fuel. Okay. Let's not make it out of components. Let's make it out of 1 timber instead. He'll make you a delicious, you know, brontosaurus burger, as you can see by the icon for the meat there. Alright, so she found some medicine, some raw food, more books, materials, basic items. That's pretty good. So she could take that medicine, but I actually don't think there's, like, any need to make her take that medicine right now, because she's recovering already. Maybe she's not. When she was sleeping, she was recovering. If I could have her sleep and I could save the medicine, then that would be for the best, I think. Alright, so, Bruno's done here. He's done his cooking for the day. I want to make a knife, but we need 3 gun parts to make that happen. We could make more lockpicks, which would actually be pretty useful, but let's see what else we can build over here. We could build a radio, more chairs. We can't quite build a rainwater collector, but we can make water filters that we can use in a rainwater collector. We can also upgrade our workbenches if we want to, but we need a few more materials in order to make that happen. Yeah, for each of these we're going to need a lot more materials, actually, to make it happen. Which is fine. For now, why don't we have Bruno make a radio. And we'll place that radio down here. And the radio's got kind of a cool minigame associated with it. I'm not sure how much information it actually gives us, but I have to imagine that it's pretty good. And it's fun nonetheless, so I can get down with that. Alright, so she's eaten, and, well, not she's eaten, remember I told you this isn't a zombie game. But she can take a little bit of a nap there. I'm amazed that Pavel is already, you know, good to go. Very strong, congrats, man, more power to you. Let's take a listen to our radio here with Bruno. And we can tune it here to see what's up. So we can see day 2. The rebel leader instructed us to warn the listeners not to cross the front line. Failure to comply could result in death. Okay, so we turn the radio dial. Good thing I was born in the late 80s, so I actually know how to use one of these. Okay, so wait for the light to flicker less, or more, I should say. Is this still the same frequency? It may be, actually. You just gotta wait until you tune into, like, the exact signal. Yeah, that is the same one. Okay, let's go to a new signal here. Okay, let's see what this one is. Starting to blink a little faster. Getting close. There we go. Despite desperate counterattacks by the rebels to lift the siege off of Pogolrin, the city remains cut off. Government forces do not allow any aid to reach the city, claiming it would end up in rebel hands. Thanks a lot, assholes. See if there's another frequency over here. No, that's the end of the dial there. But we can come back this way and we might be able to find one. Can't tell if we're getting close. Oh, there we go. Some classical music playing. Maybe that makes them feel better. The upcoming days should still be nice and warm, perfect for a stroll in the park. And one more, like over here. The upcoming days should be nice and warm, perfect for a stroll in the park. All right, well, at least we know that the weather's going to be warm. Yeah, this guy is going to want us to make some cigarettes soon. We need paper for that, like cigarette paper for that. I don't think we have anything else to build, and it's getting a little late in the day. So we're just going to... what we might do is just make some lockpicks quickly. Oh, we don't even have any components to make lockpicks. So what do we want tomorrow from our scavenging tonight? We want gun parts, components, and what would help us build a rainwater collector? Components. So, like, seriously, if we could just get components and gun parts tomorrow, that'd be pretty good. Of course, you know, it never hurts to get... Let me make sure Katya's recovering. Yeah, okay. It never hurts to get more medicine. Never hurts to get more food. But we're going to end our day here because we think we're pretty much done with it. And components, gun parts. Components, gun parts. Katya's going to sleep again. Pavel's going to scavenge again. And we have some new objects here, as you can see. You know, caution advised, you could possibly trade. Before the war, you could have your car repaired there. It was a decent family business run by an impulsive son and his elderly father. If they still live there, they might be willing to trade with us. Alternatively, we might find some useful parts there and maybe even some food. St. Mary's Church is still a place for meetings for the local community. Priest Olek is known for his charitable work in offering refuge to the poor. He might have something to give away or trade. The vestry behind the church is devastated and abandoned. We could find some useful materials there. I'm going to still start with Shelled Cottage, though. We've only looted 25% of it. Now, the real question is, do we have Bruno guard? And I think I am going to have Bruno guard. Even though he's going to be very tired as a result. And we'll prepare to leave. So, Pavel, I'm going to give you the shovel, although I could give Bruno the shovel instead, and that's pretty much all I'm going to give you, because it should be all you need. And this will be the last day that we'll tackle over this video, but I think you've got a pretty good idea for what's going on with the game right now. So we need components, and if possible, gun parts. Timber would be not so bad as well. But we'll start just by maxing out components. Alright, so we'll take a peek in through the door here. Don't see anything. We can defend ourselves with the shovel if we have to, but I'm going to guess that that's probably not the ideal course of action. I'm going into the fridge just to see if there's anything maybe we want. There's it's a little bit of herbs and water. What about in here? Maybe gun parts? This could be where you keep a gun. No, just sugar. I think this might actually be like for us to rest in the bed. No, it's looting. Okay, good. We got some herbal medicine. I will take that. Could be. It's valuable for bartering, if nothing else. Try to go, like, upstairs here. All the good stuff is always kept upstairs. That may or may not be true. But in my house, well, I don't have it upstairs. But if I did, that's where I would keep all of my guns. Not that I would ever own any. Not that I have a problem with people owning them. Anyway. Disregard that. Sure, yeah, there we go. We've got a crap ton of components here. Oh, there's footsteps downstairs, but sometimes those are just rats. Sometimes, oh, we don't have a lockpick, okay. That's why you want to take a lockpick if possible, but we didn't have any. So if we look down the stairs, oh yeah, it's just rats, okay. That can give you some false positives though. Like you think you're in a totally fine situation, and then a rat shows up and you get scared. I don't know how late the night goes, by the way, because I've never actually gone to the point where, well, let's just scavenge this first. I've never gotten to the point where I actually wanted to stay the whole night. Usually I run away as soon as people show up. So that's timber. We may end up doing something with that. I can't help but feel, though, that maybe there's something useful in our backyard here because of the fact that there's a pile of debris. In a video game design standpoint, you know, obstacle in front of a reward means that the reward afterwards is probably greater. That's my philosophy on it anyway. Let's see what we've got inside. Oh, okay. So if we come back here, we should really bring a couple of lockpicks. Please tell me this is a rat. It's a rat, okay. I think the first kind of property they give you here, that to scavenge is like zero danger. Like nobody is actually ever going to be there. So I'm happy about this situation. He'll scavenge this and we'll take a look here. I hope we get some gun parts, but I'm skeptical about that. I'd like to get a knife just so that if we leave like somebody to guard. What is this? Coffee. Okay. Oh, there's some gun parts. Okay. Fertilizer. I can't really use fertilizer, honestly. I've never figured out how to use it. Coffee might be good enough to barter. And what if we took like a quality roll-up cigarette to give to Bruno? Maybe that'll make him happy. You do have to care about their like psychology sometimes. I think this is pretty good. We can just exit, I guess. Unless this is a new area. Pavel is back. We might be a little bit low on timber, but we should be able to barter for it using all the stuff that we got. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, it's the start of a new series. I'm not sure how long it's going to go on for, but I believe you win the game if you get to 30 days, but most people don't make it that far from what I've read online. Let's just make sure that we didn't get raided in the night. Bruno is starting to feel a bit unwell. I think that makes a lot of sense given the fact that I just had him stay up for like 36 hours straight. But in any case, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, it's the start of a new series. Click the like button if you enjoyed it. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. There will be a link in the video description to pick up this War of Mine on Steam if you are interested in doing so. And of course, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.